Hey there, welcome back to my channel. My name is 3cupstarot and I'm so glad that you're here to join me on this timeless reading about your inner child and what it is that your inner child wants you to know, what it is that your inner child is going through, any type of messages that they want to convey to you at this moment. Today I am using the deck of Yoshitani. Hopefully I didn't completely butcher that. It is a tarot of the divine, and it is inspired by fairy tales, folklore, and deities from around the world. So I thought that it was very fitting for today's reading, being that we're talking about children and how it is that our inner child wants to speak to us. So we have 3 piles today, and since it is a pick a card, some like to pick numbers, which I put on the screen. Others like to look at the crystal a little bit more in depth, so this is a close-up of that. So this is pile number 1, pile number 2, and pile number 3. At this point in the video, you can go ahead and pause it and make your selection, or if you prefer, you can stay on with me and go through a guided meditation in order to center yourself, ground yourself, and make a selection. Take a deep breath in and exhale out. And release all of today's tension, worries, concerns, any baggage that you might have cluttering your mind that does not suit you. And close your eyes for a second and visualize yourself connected to the light of the earth, your feet planted on the ground. And open your eyes and focus on one of the cards, focus on one of the decks, the one that most draws your attention or makes you gravitate towards it. Slowly take another deep breath in and exhale. Look at the other decks, and if none of them make any kind of indication that they are for you, then go back to the original one and slowly feel how its energy and your energy are connected. For this reading, a reading about your inner child, about the little human being that you were or still are. That child who still lives within you and can sometimes be seen coming out in short bursts. We will begin the reading shortly. Pile number 1. This is your reading about your inner child. We have the Hermit, the Wheel of Fortune, and the Knight of Swords. So pile number 1, by these cards, I can tell that as a child, you were a person who liked to be in thought. you were a pragmatic person. You were the type of child who looked for direction. Yes, you were guided and oriented by somebody else, right? As a child, that's the way that things work. But you were also a child who didn't believe the hype. So the Hermit speaks of solitude and reflection, maybe a little bit of isolation. Then you have the Wheel of Fortune, where you had all these different abilities, and as if you can see here, it's like a spider web. So you created your own reality. And I think you were very, or if not still, a very imaginative person. And like SpongeBob comes up, like imagination with the rainbow. And yeah, like you were or still are, of course, multi-talented as a child. But you took direction well. You know, you were able to take direction, and you didn't feel like people were nagging you. But as a child, it just, you longed for, I guess, more liberties. With the Three of Coins, there always seem to be your guardians or your parents or the people who raised you at arm's length of you, very protected, very secure. Any kind of activity that you were in, they were right there next to you, which is great, right? Because as a child, we long to be protected, we long to be secure, we long to feel that the people that are around us are there to help us and to guide us and to provide a safety net for us that, you know, are just growing up. With the Moon here, I see, again, kind of like the longing and the trust building with your authoritative parent or guardian or the people who raised you, as well as security with the bridge, making sure that you don't fall in the water below. But also, as you can see with the Hermit, a little bit of an isolation, a little bit of a thought processy going, where you didn't really like to be surrounded by, you know, other little kids bothering you. Also with the Moon, I can sense that as a child, your inner child is trying to let you know that going back to that is not a bad thing. It's not regressing, or it's not being ungrateful or unkind to those around you that are trying to help you now in these instances of your adult life. It just means that you're trying to gather your thoughts as a child and trying to come together with a plan, like the spider web, and come together with some type of direction. Yeah, with Justice, and then 11 is such a powerful number. It's like you were a powerful child. You know, like your inner child is letting you know that you still got that power within you, that you still got that balance. Even though sometimes the adult world can make it seem as if we don't have much is in our control, you know, and that definitely seems to be a factor as well in as a child, the control factor and just the security factor, and making sure that if the problem or the eventual solution is going to be in my hands, and that's going to be great because I know that I can take on the work, and I know that I can take on that kind of situation and make it so that I come out on top. With the Page of Swords, I see also a lot of independence, a lot of creativity, a lot of wanting and longing for a better life, of wanting and longing for all the materialistic things that we hope for as children, you know, the white picket fence or a secure job, maybe children. And your inner child is saying that that's great, you know, like that's something that you should always strive for, because there's not a single thing in life that you can't get with hard work, dedication, and you know, the divine and the spirits guiding you. The Hanged Man. So as I was saying, pile number one, that kind of independence and creativity and what your inner child is trying to let you know, it also correlates with indecisiveness, right? Because sometimes when we are in such a structured household and we are in a guided by parents, guardians, you know, that kind of impose their own will sometimes on us, we do retreat, right? And that helps us out. That helps us out a lot because we are able to collect our thoughts and make sure that what we want in this life is beneficial to us, but maybe the imbalance that you're feeling now as an adult comes from the indecisiveness and comes from the fact that you want to know what your life is going to be like, and you want to be able to return to that childlike state where you did know and you had this spider web of plans and you did have this decisiveness going on, and you did have this free will about you. But always remember that your inner child is trying to let you realize that that's all good and dandy, but that came along with inner thought and inner reflection, and indecisiveness and trying to balance everything out is just part of that. It's just part of building your web. It's just part of trying to be this adult, right? And going forward, I think your inner child is reassuring you that what you're doing is fine, reassuring you that where you're going is okay. I'm just going to bring out some clarifying cards from the deck just to see what else your inner child wants to let you know. Maybe a little bit more about that indecisiveness. The Tower. So yeah, I think one of your biggest, fears right now as an adult is making the wrong choice and not finding a way out, and kind of feeling that you self-destruct sometimes, and it's not a healthy habit or a healthy cycle to go through. Pile number one. When you get like this, when you get a little bit indecisive, or when you get to a point where you just don't know, your inner child is telling you, go back. Like, go back to retreat. Don't use certain things or excuses or substances, whatever. Just retreat to a point in your life where you can have solitude and you can have reflection, and that's definitely going to help you out. Pile number one. And the sense of security, with the Two of Coins, look at that. That is so cute with a little, is it a bear? Oh yeah, that's a bear. Oh, it's just that sense of security, like I was talking about in the beginning. You need that bridge, you need that protector, and that is definitely the fuel to your fire. Feeling secure and feeling protected and feeling nurtured. And you can achieve this through speaking out, telling people about the woes and the anguishes and the despair that you might be feeling, or your indecisiveness, talking it out with yourself, a therapist, just feeling that ooey gooey feeling again. Pile number one. Such a cute card. All right, so let me go to the book, to the guidebook, and let's look for the Hanged Man. Well, here's the Two of Coins, and it's Ripissant, Pacific Northwest, Haida mythology. I definitely butchered that. The Two of Coins represents the skill needed to balance opposing forces in life. For Ripissant, the bear world and the human world collide. She embodies the dualities of work and family, hobbies and careers, and wants versus needs. Balance. That is exactly what I was talking about with this card, funny enough, right? Like, talking about balance, talking about equilibrium, and how you want that in your life, and how sometimes you might feel a little bit shaken up. Let's see, the Hanged Man. Here we go. Sleeping Beauty, Italy. Oh, I didn't know that Sleeping Beauty was Italian. The Hanged Man seizes forward momentum to avoid disaster and instead favors reflection. Sleeping Beauty is a symbol of stasis, with the options of sleep or death. She chooses to wait for more favorable conditions. Right, the suspension and the readjustment and the sacrifice. Yeah, of course. There is definitely that kind of suspension, I feel, of just, oh, what's going to happen, or restriction of not letting yourself just think everything through. But let's see what your inner child wants you to. Let's pull out a couple more cards and see what they want you to do. The Six of Wands. Take stride. That's the first thing that popped into mind. Take stride. Take it into your own hands. And it's funny because, yes, you do ask for support. You do ask for advice. You do try to work it out with the people around you. But then again, take stride. Sort out options. There is nothing that you can do that is a wrong decision or a wrong choice as long as you're trying. As long as you're making heed and you're progressing towards something where, again, your creativity is flowing and your independence is going. And then Judgment. This reminds me of the scene from Avatar the Last Airbender, where he's just looking out with his staff, right? And he's like, oh, I have to fight the Fire Lord at the end of this. And, you know, at the end well, I don't want to spoil it. But this, yeah, it's just you against the world, right? And your inner child is letting you know that, yeah, this feeling of you against the world is temporary, and, you know, but it's necessary. It's just something that we all have to go through, and we arm ourselves. We have our toolkit. We have our toolkit of coping mechanisms and social support and our own individual guidance that helps us through it. For these two, I'm gonna consult the guidebook. Oh, look, Judgment. Sun Wukong, the Monkey King, China. Judgment is the reckoning, an ending before the start of a new journey. Past actions and decisions determine future events. If you haven't learned your lessons, you are doomed to repeat your mistakes over and over. Improvement, forgiveness, a change of perspective, absolution, and rebirth. Yeah, definitely. It is definitely a new journey. Let's go to the Six of Wands. Here we go. Yanenga, Burkina Faso Mosi legend. I'm not good with these terminologies. The Six of Wands represents victory and success. A warrior princess, Yanenga, is her father's most prized fighter. Her skill is so great he never wishes to part with her, but she rebels. She seeks her own path and recognition for her deeds. There, oh, perfect. She seeks her own path. Yep. Take it with, you have to take it with stride. You have to take the bull by the horns. Victory, praise, achievement, reward, fame. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. All right, pile number 1. This is your reading, and I hope that you can get something out of it. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Hey there, pile number 2. This is your reading about your inner child and what it is that your inner child wants you to know. The deck has been previously shuffled off camera, but we have shuffled it again now. All right, we have the 4 of Coins. Oh, pile number 2. I can sense that as a child you were wow. I mean, listen, this is a general reading, right? So take it with stride, and of course you are a ever-growing adult and ever-growing human being. So but yeah, as a child, I can see kind of that you were coddled and in a situation where you didn't really feel safe, or maybe you felt protected but by like a parent that wasn't that great. I mean, narcissism is the first thing that came up. If you were in a home where maybe one or both of your parents or guardians were narcissists, or just if they abused you mentally, emotionally, physically, I'm very sorry, pile number 2, if that is the case, if that applies to you. If not, I also get that you were the type of child that was always weary and worried and nervous, and hoping for a better tomorrow, and finding refuge in your hobbies and in the things that you like to do the most, right? As the coins can see. And right here you had some type of parent, or maybe one of them was fine and the other was abusive, or you had a grandmother that looked after you, a grandparent, a friend, a family friend, an uncle, an aunt that helped you through everything that you were going through. with the Ten of Cups, I see that your family right now is, like your adult family right now, is something that you hold very dear to your heart. And family is very important to you, pile number 2, because since you grew up in this kind of environment where you didn't feel safe and you didn't feel secure and you didn't feel protected, that is something that you strive to hold firm and make sure that it's always there for your loved ones, for your spouse and for your significant other, and for your child if you do have any children. And a lot of people admire that in you, pile number 2, that you have taken this past and have been able to make this beautiful, wonderful family that you love so much. And the pillars right here, you know, very strong, very solid, 10 of Cups kind of family situation. With the Page of Coins, yeah, your inner child is bringing a lot of light to you, pile number 2. A lot of light, a lot of flow, a lot of air energy. With the Knight of Coins, you're always weary, and you're always like your inner child is letting you know that they sense that you are protective and you are this person that, you know, don't mess with the bull or you'll get the horns, especially when it comes to family and when it comes to what's theirs or what's yours, of course. And that can kind of stop you from having relationships with other people or just fostering better connections with those that hurt you, you know, because in your past there have been people that hurt you as a child, and you don't want to, and you feel that you shouldn't connect with them because of all that pain and hurt and grief that they gave you as a child. With the Four of Swords, we see that sometimes you can react in a manner that is explosive and violent, and you don't like to get that kind, you don't like to be in that kind of state, pile number 2. But it's just the traumas and what you have learned to do over the years in response to the kind of abuse that you have received as a child. And people have let you know that when you get into this kind of state, you can be dangerous not only to yourself but to others. And that is why you are so weary and defensive and protective of yourself and your time and your energy and your spirit and of the people who surround you, with people that you love, because you get into this kind of aggressive and defensive state. You know, when an animal is threatened by somebody and they have their children with them, they will react violently and they will react in the worst way because they're trying to protect. And I'm not saying that 100%, you know, you're an abuser or anything like that. Definitely not. This is talking about how maybe spiritually or emotionally you also damage yourself, because sure, you lunge swords at other people when you get into a state like this, but you also hurt yourself and you don't let yourself grow. And your inner child is trying to let you know that with Ace of Cups, you have to let everything flow. You have to let water in. You have to not only be fueled by protecting your loved ones and protecting your sanity and protecting yourself because you didn't get it as a child, but also letting go, pile number 2. I definitely think that you have to let go of a lot of the pain, of a lot of the hurt that has come your way, which in and of itself is a feat that a lot of people, you know, it's easier said than done. I understand that, pile number 2. But it's controlling you at a certain point. They say that your past and the people who hurt you, if you don't let them go, if you do not forgive, then they are the ones controlling you. They are the ones making you feel horrible. And you have grown so much, pile number 2, that you do not need to feel this way. You do not need to be controlled in this manner. Let go, forgive. Make sure that the only person that is controlling yourself is you. And there's always your past that's going to affect you, and there's always this shadow, this boogeyman that you fear so much, pile number 2. Whether if it's in relationships or whether if it's how you act within yourself, the dagger is pointed towards you, pile number 2. The lightning is also, and it's almost like you self-inflict this kind of harm. I don't know, maybe if as a child you did self-harm in some way or another in order to express your pain and express your hurt that others were inflicting upon you, and so now you take on this defensive kind of persona, pile number 2. But the boogeyman and the shadows and all that it can only hurt you up to a certain point, only to a certain point that you allow. And it's not a way to live, you know. You have wings, you have wings, and you have the throne. You are very strong, pile number 2. You are a resilient child. Your inner child is letting you know that your wings have to fly. You have to fly. You have to find this kind of peace that as a child you did find in a certain way. Maybe, like I said, with a grandmother, with a friend, talking it out, or going into nature. But you have to let go, pile number 2, and you have to make sure that the person that you're taking care of is yourself, so that you may take care of others in your life. Let's consult the guidebook, and we can go with the 3 of Swords. Crane wife, Japan. The 3 of Swords represents betrayal. The crane wife asks her husband for privacy, but he spies on her, only to discover she was hurting herself to help him. His spying was treacherous, but so was her inability to trust him with her secret. Heartbreak, self-harm, sadness, grief, separation. And here we go. The 4 of Swords, Fenrir, Norway, Norse mythology. The 4 of Swords signals a pause in battle. The Norse gods know that the wolf Fenrir will bring about the end of the world, so they have him bound and chained while he still represents a threat. For now there is respite, sanctuary, recouping, meditation, passivity, and counseling. 5 of Swords, Osiris, Set, and Isis, Egypt, Egyptian mythology. The 5 of Swords represents a fight won through deceit. Set overthrows his brother Osiris and is seen gloating over his brother's inconsolable wife, Isis. While Set represents a tyrant of a victor, Isis is a defeated combatant who will eventually bring about Set's defeat. Surrender, betrayal, bullying, violence, crime. Yeah, there is definitely a pattern here, pile number 2, which is betrayal. Betrayal and heartbreak, and just feeling that you're bound and chained to your past, you're bound and chained to this inability to trust, you're bound and chained to trying to have some type of revenge over somebody who did you wrong. And that, I mean, I don't know the situation that you grew up in, pile number 2, so nobody can understand exactly 100% what it is that you've been through, but your inner child is trying to let you know that there's only so much that you can take, and there's only so much that your body can handle. And with the Knight of Coins, yes, you have taken this defensive kind of, I'm going to protect my family approach, which is great, but where do you fall? Oh, right here, Knight of Coins. Haitsi Abib, South Africa. The Knight of Coins is a diligent warrior who is willing to put in the work to set the world right. Haitsi Abib, I butchered that, can be as stubborn as an ox, getting into trouble for his efforts. He is strong, loyal, and determined in all things he sets his mind to. Ambition, hard work, persistence, and being efficient. And then the Page of Coins. Beivy Nieda, Sweden. The Page of Coins welcomes the beginning of spring and summer, a fresh start, the end of darkness. Beavineida represents hope, setting up solid foundations and mental wellness. She is grounded and anticipates the bright future. There we go. Setting goals, positivity, opportunities. That is what you need to allow more of, pile number 2. That is something that you need to strive to work on, setting goals and making sure that you're okay and opening yourself up to more positivity and not just relying on your past to get you through the day. It's within you to bring about that light that comes within you. And that's, I think, what I said when I got this card out, that there's light, that there is positivity, that there is abundance around you and inside of you, which is most important. Let's get a couple more cards out to see what it is your inner child wants you to do. Oh, perfect. Oh, and the child with the adult. Oh, just so beautiful that you need to let go. You need to leave that island of despair, that island of the past, and you need to look forward. And once you're in this boat, do not turn back. Like when there's certain movies where they say, like in Tomb Raider, right? Angelina Jolie was told, do not turn back because then you will turn into stone. I think that was Tomb Raider or one of those movies. Yes, do not turn back because there is nothing in the past waiting for you, pile number 2. There is nothing in the past that is going to make you a good person or a better family member or co-worker, whatever it is that you're striving to do in this world. 5 of Coins. Your inner child is letting you know that the window to opportunity is a choice, right? That's the hope right there. That little candle that they're holding and protecting, basically getting frostbite, is the hope, is the longing, is the redemption, is the letting go and hopping through that window. And look at how this intricate design is with the stars and the colors, and you're just here. It was a tough upbringing, yes, pile number 2, but it is time to break free. It is time to break free. It is time to, yes, be the ox, yes, be protective, but not be stubborn. The Sun, everything is going, your inner child is letting you know that the brightness and the positivity and everything that you are and everything that you have accomplished so far with the help of limited resources and without the help of the people that you thought were going to be there in your life to guide and protect you, your parents, right? Those people that we look up to and hope that they will give us so much love and protection. Yes, sure, they were not there in the beginning, but look at what you have accomplished. Look at what is in store for you, pile number 2. Just divinity and light and positivity and the will to survive. That's what has gotten you through. And I think that now you have this support system that is so amazing, or at least hold dear to your heart. Like I said, your spouse, your significant other, children. It might be friends or even a pet or something that you really do care for. And that is all thanks to you. That is all thanks to the amazing will and power that you have had in your life. But you have to let go. You have to stop self-harming in all types of ways, right? Mentally, physically, emotionally, financially, whatever it is that is causing you harm and anguish and just this obsession and not letting you breathe, not letting you take the steps to finding yourself and finding the sun and healing from the trauma, pile number 2. That is very important. I'm going to take one more card out, pile number 2, because I feel that your inner child just wants to say one more thing. I hope I'm not being too repetitive. Ace of Swords. Oh, beautiful. Oh, that is so beautiful. with the rope and then tying it up, and it's like you're at the center and you have to make your way, and you have made your way. And it's all, like I said, it is all thanks to you and the people that were able to lend a hand, sure, but it's like the tale of the person who took the sword out of the stone, right? You are unique, pile number 2. You are very strong and resilient. And you're one of a kind. You're a one of a kind of person, because not many would be able to go through all the tribulations and trauma that you have gone through as a child and have made it out. And are still making it out, and are still fighting your way out, and you're still in the thick of it, in the jungle, but you're cutting loose all these things that, sure, have built you up and have made you who you are, but have also tied you down a little bit, and you have to learn how to distinguish them, and you have to learn how to cut that which does not serve you anymore loose out of your life, be it people, be it and the rope right here, that's be it people or situations or events, and letting go. Because with the Ace of Swords and the Four of Swords, that which binds you and that which makes you feel insecure and detached from a normal life because you have had an abnormal upbringing, you can turn it around, your inner child says, to making it so that it only makes you stronger, right? What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. And sure, it's not this, rope easily can be cut and burned and made into other different kinds of things, but it connects and it binds. And as it can also harm somebody and make them feel constricted and trapped, and sometimes you might feel like that, it also creates this kind of spider web of understanding, and it creates this empowerment almost of who you are, because you are empowered. You should feel empowered. Your inner child is letting you know that instead of resorting to this kind of behavior, resort to inner thought and reflection and resolution, and making it so that you are in charge and you are in the center and you do have a say in your life. Pile number 2. I hope that you were able to get something out of this, pile number 2, and I'm sending you a lot of love, a lot of positivity, just a lot of harmony and light, making sure that your dreams and your desires are 100% true, because you are people of light. You are people that are so warm, and a lot of people might not know your struggle, pile number 2, and that's not the funny, but that's the part that is so bewildering, that you are this unique person, that you don't let others, especially strangers or people that you don't really trust, let onto how much pain you really have within you, pile number 2. But it's okay to reach out for help, and it's okay to put yourself first, and to trust and to love yourself, because you are wanted and you are needed, and you have a special spot in this world, pile number 2, and nobody else can fill it but you. I'm very happy that you came across this reading, pile number 2. And I hope that you're able to incorporate some of what I said into your life. And I wish you a very happy day or night whenever you're watching this. Thank you. Pile number 3, this is your reading about your inner child and what they want you to know. The deck has been shuffled off camera, but I will also give it a quick little shuffle here. Okay. The Magician. Beautiful, beautiful card. Oh, look at the little mice. Nine of Swords. These two cards, it just a message popped up, like hard to conceive. Was I mean, of course you have to ask your parents, right? But or maybe about the story. I think that your birth, pile number 3, was, and of course it doesn't have to apply to everybody, just you have to take what resonates with you. I think the birth or the like to conceive you was kind of difficult, pile number 3. Your parents had to sacrifice a lot to have you, or your parents had to sacrifice careers, or maybe it wasn't a difficult birth or hard to conceive, but maybe something had to give in order for you to be in this world. With the Magician card, I also see that maybe you went through a ailment, a medical condition when you were younger, and you were able to pull through or have some medication so that that now that you're in adult life, you are fully recovered, because I see growth. And then just that, yeah, you were a miracle baby. And I think you were a baby or a child, right, that was kind of contradictory. Like the sun and the moon, you had conflicting personalities almost. Like, how can I put this? Where you had this upbeat personality, but then, like, if you were a girl, you dressed like more like a boy. Or maybe you just like the quirky things as a child, which is 100% fine because I did too. All right, 9 of Swords. King of Swords. With the King of Swords, I see that you're a child who like to have control and autonomy, and that's something that you kind of struggled with a lot because your parents were kind of all over you, which, parents are like that sometimes. And because of this condition, or maybe this medical ailment, or whatever it is that you had, or maybe a difficult birth, they just overprotected. Like, they were just very overprotective of you. Knight of Cups. But I just see positivity with this card. I see that, sure, you face the hard waters, the harsh waters, but you pulled through and you made it out. Yeah, I see positivity and good spirit. Like, you had a good spirit. You were a good-natured child. I don't think you were a difficult child. I just think that you needed your space like anybody. And your inner child is very aware of that. I get old soul energy from this pile number 3. And I also get that you are very much in charge of your fashion, and sometimes that fashion sense or kind of likes or dislikes growing up weren't all that quote unquote normal. And you did like the weird and quirky and the, all the things that are coming back into fashion, but clearly when someone likes it, it's not fashionable, which is me as well. Like, I definitely like to dress like a secretary when I was in high school, so I get you, pile number 3. And then we have the 4 of Wands. Oh, so beautiful. Your inner child. Oh, yeah, beauty came out first. Which can mean a lot of things, right? Physical or spiritual. A lot of people gravitated towards you, pile number 3. And I don't know why, but I'm getting like spiritual kind of abilities or clairvoyant kind of abilities, and maybe you do, maybe you don't, maybe you don't know, right? You're just growing up. But yeah, your inner child is saying, I'm still here, I can still sense that. Maybe an imaginary friend that you had. The 8 of Swords. Oh, wow. And it just felt, yeah. You had to be, sometimes it was all too much for you, pile number 3. Sometimes this trying to be yourself and trying to be unique, and so many people gravitating towards you because of your beauty or your charming speak, right? Like you had a great language, or your art, or your abilities, or your determination, that autonomy. A lot of people gravitated towards you in that sense. But but then you have to have time for yourself. You have to recuperate. You have to, like, you are on E. Your gas tank is on E, and you have to fill it up again. And sometimes you felt guilty over that. Sometimes you felt like, why can't I just be out there with my friends or my family and having a good time? Why do I have to feel this way? Why do I have to be in isolation? And just the guilt and the remorse and trying to find a better way to do it. But no, that was something good in you, pile number 3. That was a way of self-care for you not to be too overwhelmed, because you did feel that if you didn't have this recharge moment, that you did feel bad, and you did feel like you needed just a break, strength, yes, because you are a strong person, pile number 3, and from the adversity that you came into this world with, right, with the adversity that you grew up with or had to be conceived with, that kind of resilience and strength, and the sacrifice that your parents made. I don't know if maybe you're like first time generation here in the US, or a first time generation in another country, so they had to leave their family behind. Something where you had to grow with a lot of strength. Your inner child still has all of that kind of badass energy. I don't know how else to put it, because you are a badass, pile number 3. It's like you're perfect, like, bio. You're a badass and an old soul. Like you're a sensitive badass with an old soul. I that's definitely should be on a bio for sure. I'm gonna take out the guidebook, and let's see the 9 of Swords. Oedipus, Greece, Greek mythology. I butchered that like I have been doing for the whole course of this video. I just can't get the names right. The 9 of Swords represents decision-making controlled by anxiety. The oracle at Delphi warns the king that his son Oedipus will one day kill him. Had he not let his fears control him and raised his son in love instead of hate, the king's eventual death could have been avoided. Anxiety, terror, nightmares, obsession, insomnia. Yeah, for sure. I think that this is definitely like a Greek mythology. Your dad wasn't worried that you were going to kill him, right? But just that anxiety and that despair and that obsession with trying to have a child and having it at all costs definitely came through. And now with the 8 of Swords, donkey skin, France, that is so cute. The 8 of Swords represents being caught up in your own securities. I think that's a typo. Donkey skin was forced into hiding to escape a bad situation. Now she is faced with the decision to continue the life she has created, or to step out of her self-made prison. Yes, anxiety, victimhood, feeling trapped, paralysis, crisis. Of course, because sometimes like the real life that you're in can be kind of overwhelming, right? And you feel trapped about it. Because I do sense some clairvoyance or spiritual gifts in you, pile number 3. It doesn't have to apply, of course, but if it does, that kind of isolation and alienation because of not fitting in is something that can be overwhelming, and you can feel trapped and have all this anxiety, inside of you. Let's get some clarifying cards to see what else your inner child wants to let you know, pile number 3. Oh, that one came out really quick. The Chariot. Okay, badass energy coming through once more, pile number 3. Yes, I love it. Look at that. Just hair in the wind, not giving a care. Okay. All right, let's get 1 or 2 more. Let's see what they want you to know. Inner child. What do you want, pile number 3? Page of Cups. Aww. So cute. I can definitely sense that your fashion sense is still like in tip-top shape, like 100%. Yeah, like you have this badass kind of I'm in charge, I got this you know, energy when you want to exert this kind of confidence that you have inside of you, but you also are very sensitive. Pile number 3. You are like a fluffy little rabbit. And yeah, maybe that's why the insecurities can kind of take their toll on you, because it's just too much. You know, it can be too much and too overwhelming for you. All right, one more. Oh wow. Oh, beautiful card. I swear this deck is like the prettiest deck I've seen. The Hierophant. The Hierophant. Yeah, I'm not good at pronunciation. But I just see royalty and energy and Palo Santo and spirituality. Yes, I think if you're not a spiritual person, pile number 3, I would be very surprised. Maybe like old soul energy as well. Let's look it up. All right, here she is, White Buffalo Woman, North Dakota, Lakota deity. The Hierophant is a divine figure and teacher who shares the rules, rites, and rituals to follow as a community. There is a place for everyone, and everyone in their place. She encourages the comfort and support of the group, the path well trodden. Conformity, compassion, social approval, tradition, and legacy. And then we have the Page of Cups. Here we go. Bakunawa and the Seven Moons, Philippines, Filipino mythology. The Page of Cups is connected to his emotions and expresses himself wholly with youthful purity. In this card, one of the 7 young moon siblings plays with Tuer Shen, the Chinese god of same-sex relationships, who ties the red thread of fate that connects lovers. Youthfulness, idealism, sensitivity, of course, right there. Romance and spirituality. Oh yes, this card I think is my favorite card, because just looking at it out, oh, it's just mesmerizing, and the artwork, yeah. But for sure, pile number 3, this has been your reading, and I hope that, you know, you're able to, if you are a spiritual person, right, because I know how it is to grow up having, you know, these kinds of abilities and understanding truly who you are. I definitely suggest that you go online and look it up. There's so many YouTube videos about it. I'll probably make one of myself. If you need to DM me on my Instagram, 3cupstarot, please do so. But for now, thank you so much for joining me, and have a great day. Bye.